Good people, what is going on? Another episode of the All Go podcast. I'm your host, Desmond. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Been gone for a little bit, so back as far as doing videos. I had a family vacation. We went to Portugal for a little while, just over a week. Had a blast, enjoyed it. Amazing place. The food was awesome. The people, just different cultures, the history, everything. We had a great time. So I didn't do any new videos at that in the last week and a half. It was basically just shorts that I had scheduled and all that good stuff. So just to make sure I was putting some content out while I was gone. So, but we are back, and football is back. So got a couple things want to talk about, but before I do, have to let you know that if you want to start a business, and if you want to start a low-cost business, you can hit the link in the description to visit PLR Epic, where you can get 104 ebooks for $8. You can purchase those, repurpose them, resell them, and keep 100% of the profits. Hit the link in the description and get yours today. A couple things that were kind of big. So Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, has the contract extension. I did a video a couple of weeks back about the extension and why I thought it was nuts that they weren't extending him and just causing friction where there didn't really need to be any. But what I also mentioned was I thought a 3-year deal would be a sweet spot for him, because that would get right in line. You could get him extended, pay him some big money, but that contract would be up in that same time frame where Jaden Daniels, you're going to be extending him for his massive contract, that second contract that those quarterbacks get that are massive. We're up to about 55 per year is really the number. I mean, Dak's got 60, which that's the contract that just keeps on giving us things to laugh about. But I did a video and mentioned, I think a 3-year, $90 million, $100 million deal, depending on the guarantees, I thought could get it done. The deal that came out was 3-year, $96 million. That is the total value of the contract. Now, we still don't know the guarantees because that's really the big driver. But, I mean, I would imagine in the neighborhood of 50 to 75 million, something in that range as far as the guaranteed amount. But they're not going to cut Terry McLaurin before the end of that deal. So he's probably going to see most of that $96 million, if not all of it. So kudos to him. Kudos to Washington for getting that taken care of. Also, there's a lot of talk about Shedeur Sanders and his last start, which was yesterday, I think. And he didn't look great. He didn't look good. I am rooting for Shedeur to do well. I think the Cleveland Browns as an organization are too dysfunctional for any quarterback to really excel and do well there. He's got plenty, before he can even get to that point, right? He's not going to start this year. He's probably not going to start next year. Like he's not going to be starting there anytime soon. So he's still got, other things he needs to work on, but I also did a video on his rookie debut in the preseason, and one of the big things that I mentioned in that video was Shedeur has to stop with the just retreating and running back and losing tons of yards. He did that at Colorado. He did that in the first game. He was able to get away with it in that first game where it didn't really bite them in the butt, but it happened multiple times in his last start, and it did not go well. You have to understand, number one, what you have to understand is you're not the most athletic guy on the football field. You're not even close. You can make an easy argument. You are the least athletic guy on the field. Because these centers, these offensive linemen, these guards, these guys are running fast, right? We've got offensive tackles that are, 6'7", 350 pounds running 4.9, 5 flats. So you're the least athletic guy on the field. When you get the initial escapability, you get that first, hey, I got around or escaped or eluded that defender, that first guy. You've got, at that point, you have to make a decision. Either I'm going to find someone right now to throw to, or I'm going to get outside of the pocket and I'm going to throw the ball away. He's got to get that ingrained in him, because honestly, that's something that would kill you as a starter in the NFL. You can't do that. You cannot. And until he gets that under control, it's gonna be an uphill battle. The interesting thing with the Browns in the quarterback competition or depth chart is not so much the rookies and where they are. To me, it's Kenny Pickett. This is a guy who, number one, is not good, and number two, has been hurt basically all of training camp. How is he to me, he does not have enough NFL equity to be the number two just set in stone, because they just released an updated depth chart. In what world does that make sense? If you want to go Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur, whatever the case may be, pick your poison. I think, honestly, if Joe Flacco's not, the Cleveland Browns are going to be bad anyway. But if Joe Flacco's not starting 90% of those games, it's going to be pretty bad anyway. So it's not that that's changing, life for them. But I just don't understand how you can live life with Kenny Pickett as your backup and think you're just not absolutely screwed if your starter goes down. There's no way. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what comes of it. And the last thing I wanted to touch on is the Michigan punishment has been handed down. I think it was like a $25 or $30 million fine, something like that, if I'm remembering correctly. I thought, to me, for a program like Michigan, that is nothing. They've got that as loose change in their pocket. That brand itself is a monster brand. They bring in a ton of money, do a ton of revenue. That's a drop in the bucket for Michigan. And I think they can spread it. I think it can be spread between multiple years. So it's not even like you've got to drop all of that this year. And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for Michigan to have just some finality to the whole, Connor Stallions cheating allegations, right? To just close the book on this to where now you can move on. I made a video a while back when Bryce Underwood first signed to Michigan. And I basically said in that video, like, look, you've got so many things trending your way. You end the season, you beat Ohio State, you get to the bowl game, you beat Alabama. And for as bad as a good chunk of the season was, you ended it on a great note. You embarrass your rival, you beat Alabama, who's a really good program, really good team, right? You get Bryce Underwood. So things are trending into, he's helping you recruit, you're getting other guys, you're all just full speed ahead, and seemingly you want to continue this saga that is, if nothing else, just embarrassing to Michigan. It may not be a huge deal. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's also something that you just want to be done with. And I don't understand why they are deciding to appeal. All this is going to do is now there's going to, it's just, it makes a process that could have been done and closed. You now elongate it and make it something that now you've got to deal with within the season as well. Granted, there's no more research or fact finding that's going on with the punishment and everything and the appeal, but it's still just be done with it. Like, why keep this going? That's the part that I just really don't understand with Michigan and their decision to appeal the appeal the decision. I mean, yeah, your hope is that you pay a little bit less, but once again, what is $30 million is nothing to the University of Michigan. It's literally nothing to them. They've got that in their back pocket. That's probably in the petty cash fund. So I don't understand why they want to keep it going, but is what it is. They've made their decision. I think it's kind of an FU to the NCAA, which I get it, but also I don't. I like, just be done with this. Be done with this. But that is it for me. Appreciate it. Peace.